Okay, this is the excuse me, the task 8 reflection. First thing I was going to talk about was communicating clear learning goals. I really liked having the scale on the back of the story, and that explained how they were going to use that story to be successful on the scale. I also have a poster on my wall that doesn't look much like a scale, but it has the basic information of the scale. And let's see, also there is celebrating success. I like to celebrate success, even if they don't do a great job. If they even try to speak German, we're saying fantastisch, that's great. Assessments of the whole class, I've liked assessing the whole class with the stories that we do chants. They translate the story as a whole. Also, give them a formative assessment with Canvas that I can analyze. That's for the whole class. Conducting direct instruction lessons. I really like the TPRS stories because they help students process new information. They're always summarizing what the story is about. They're also understand how they will use that vocabulary in the first, because it's in the future, because it's high frequency vocabulary. There's a high likelihood they will use it in almost every situation they're in. So they understand that they need to learn this vocabulary for the future stories. Helping students record and represent knowledge. I like the TPRs for that because they're describing the situation, which is basically a summary of the story. And they remember stuff from previous lessons. They're reviewing the stories, have all the old vocabulary in them too. Conducting knowledge application lessons. Oh, also, I was going to say about conducting, practicing, and deepening lessons. I like helping students examine errors and reasoning. One thing about the TPRS is that the students are helping each other. They're recognizing their own errors, and they're helping each other. And also, I have self-assessments that have questions that help them examine their reasoning. Conducting knowledge application lessons. Like I said, I want to read that book about generating and defending claims. I don't know, I'm a Marciano junkie. I read almost everything, but I haven't read that book. So I'm really excited to read that book. Hopefully some of my debate coach background will help me with that too. And so I can help them with resources and guidance. I really want to develop this for my ESL classes too. Strategies that appear in all types of lessons. Previewing new content. I like that. I like using the TPS stories for that because they have the old vocabulary and the new vocabulary, and the kids can see the new vocabulary in context, and they can predict a lot of times what the words mean just by using the context. Strategies that appear in all types of lessons. Previewing new content. Again, I like using that because it has the old and the new. Revising knowledge. The stories are great because they're a model for them writing their own stories. And as we work through those stories, they're revising their knowledge and using it in their own stories and revising their own stories and seeing their mistakes and stuff like that. Let's see. Using homework. I really like Canvas as a homework because they can do it at home. They can do it on their phones. They can do it all sorts of things. Some of the things I'd like to work on is using homework as a reflection on their learning. I have lots of self-assessments, but I need to make more of them that ask them questions that help them reflect on their learning. I like elaborating on new information. I love the TPR stories because it forces them they already know the old context, so they can infer the meanings of new words. And that helps them elaborate on their own knowledge, and it increases their knowledge. Organizing students to interact with knowledge, I really want to get better at that too. Like I said, I go back and forth between whether I should group kids according to ability or to where they want to be. I've tried lots of different things, but they like to make stories together, and that's why I think the TPRS stories are so great. That they can sit and tell each other stories, and I've noticed they'll actually do that in the target language because they want to share stories with each other. Let's see, using engagement strategies. The context column is the one I really wanted to focus on in this course. I always like the feedback and the content stuff, so I've been focusing on it for like 15 years, but the context is what I was missing. I was wondering, why am I losing kids sometimes? And it's because of the last one. And just little things like noticing when kids are not engaged. And I'm just, through this class, I'm looking more at whether kids are engaged or not. Most of the time I notice it's hard to look at kids and notice whether they are or not. I notice my principal likes to do that, say this kid was engaged, but I can say, hey, they got 100 on this assessment. They got 100 on this assessment. They may not look like they're engaged, but they actually were. Managing response rates is, I like to keep it going, and I want them to have it to automaticity. That's good for language. Using physical movement, that was my big goal. Let's see. Intriguing new information. I think the TPRS way is a great way to do. You do crazy stories that have unusual information. You have friendly controversy. You can have debates. The vocabulary is great to have games with the GimKit. Implementing rules and procedures. This is the one I really want to get consistent with. Just being consistent. That's my big goal. Sometimes I'm inconsistent, and that's the one I want to get the best at, is actually implementing those and being consistent in my implementation of that. And building relationships, that was one of my big focuses this year, was building relationships and understanding. And the stories are great because it helps with find out their interests and their backgrounds, and and like I said, I want to be being in control. I don't want to be emotional in my class and be mad one day and happy the other, and just show kids that I care about them. So a lot of reflection. I've like I said, I've really enjoyed this class. I've learned a lot, and I've done a lot of reflecting. So thank you very much. Bye.